Hello and welcome. We have a very exciting interview today with some friends at OpenAI. They just made this new feature inside of OpenAI. It has Dalle2. It's their tool for making images from text. But they've now added a new feature called Outpainting. Today we're going to be interviewing the people that are behind OpenAI's Outpainting feature. And we got them, they're going to join the stream right now. We're going to talk about it. It's a very exciting time. While I'm having them join, take a look at what you're going to see on the screen here. What you're seeing right now is what it works on. So essentially, you see that square? Essentially, you move the square and then the AI, you give it a new text prompt for that section, and then it can allow you to make these gigantic and elaborate images. It's called Outpainting. So I'm going to invite our guests onto the call right now. They're at OpenAI's headquarters, and let's get them on here. So let me go to my guests here. There we are, and the guests. My name is Don Allen Stevenson III. I go by Don Allen III if you're new here. Let's interview. This is their second live stream. Oh my goodness.
Hey guys.
Hello. Hello, welcome friends.
Hang on.
Where are you at right now?
Let's see. Can you see us okay?
Yeah, we can see you okay. You'll have to get kind of close in like that little square going on
here.
here.
We are. Here, you come on in. I just use mouthwash, so we're good.
Amazing. So we have some friends here today, and would you like to introduce yourselves and just talk a little bit about what we're going to be going into today?
Yeah, I can start. I'm Natalie. Nice to meet you guys. I work on our artist programs at OpenAI. I'm actually going to put a link in our bio of the OpenAI DALL-E Instagram page. So if you don't have DALL-E access and you're an artist and you'd like it, click there. I'll do it in just a couple minutes, and you can request it. And you can also ask us any questions or give us any feedback on DALL-E that you'd like to through this form. This way we can keep this conversation focused on outpainting. But nice to meet you. And here's David.
Hi, I'm David. I work on the outpainting interface. I'm a software engineer at OpenAI and excited to be here.
Amazing. Well, thank you all so much for being here. Let's just jump right into it. So I got your website on the other screen here, and it was blowing my mind. I've been using the tool myself, so let me zoom in. So this feature is called Outpainting, right? And essentially, normally we're given this square inside of DALL-E 2 where we can give it a text prompt, and then it will fill in what's in there. But now what you're saying you can do with Outpainting, this is a time lapse, by the way, you're able to move that square and ask for a new text prompt outside of that original framing. So imagine this as your end result. You all have seen that painting before. This is normally like what the shot would be, but now with Outpainting, it can be this. Look at all these unbelievable details. So I guess my first question to you all is just how does this technology even work? What are we seeing? How does it know? Yeah, how does this technology work?
Yeah, okay, I'm going to pass it on over to David, but I think that what we should start with is David explaining how when we created DALL-E and he was tinkering around, he came up with the idea for outpainting too.
Sure. Ooh, let's start with that. How did you get the idea for outpainting, David?
Yeah, so for folks who haven't seen DALL-E before, it's a AI model that can take a text prompt and based on that, just generate any image. And previously when we initially launched, it could generate a 1024 pixel by 1024 pixel image. And we had one of the features that we supported was something called in-painting, where if you had an image that you liked, but maybe you wanted to touch up one part of it, you could erase part of the image, and then using a text prompt, you could fill that in. So for example, if I had a living room and I wanted to add a lamp into it, I could erase part of the image and then fill in a lamp in that area. So at some point, I realized that we could use this same capability to actually expand an image. So if I just have a single small image, we can use that same in-painting capability, but instead of painting inside of the image, we can actually paint outside and expand it.
And these are some of David's images here.
Oh yeah, sorry, let me throw these on. So yeah, did you start off, which flower did you start off with?
Somewhere in the middle, yeah, like one of the flowered areas.
So like right around there?
Yep. Yeah.
So you're in this spot and then you're like, okay, I want to extend this beyond the frame. How do you even know what to do? Like, what is the experience like?
Yeah, so we start with the initial image. I think the text prompt was something like a collage of colorful flowers, digital art. And then from there, I decided to kind of expand either to the left or the right. I forget exactly.
Let's say we go left. So you went left like this.
Yep.
And then you said what?
Yeah, so you can either keep the text prompt the same or you can change it. So I think on the left, I said, you know, a similar thing like a collage of colorful flowers. You can see on the right, actually, there are some like, the style does start to change a little bit. So basically just moving around this canvas and like, you know, picking which style or types of flowers that I liked. And then eventually, once you put everything together, you end up with just an incredible sort of mural of different styles and types of flowers that sort of cohesively work together as one image.
Can you actually, Don, pull up one of the other images that David did? One of the ones that like has a lot of different types of things.
Yeah.
And show maybe.
Let's see. I mean, I have other ones that I've made with it.
Oh yeah, okay. Or and
types.
I just think it's kind of cool to see how like you can take one idea and move it. Or maybe we just check that out once we're creating.
So this is this is one that I made. I started off at the center. I wanted a 1960s black and white photograph of abstract UFOs visiting a planet covered in sand. And I used mostly the same prompt throughout the image, but then what I would do is I would add a word or two to the new side. So I would move this to the left. I used almost the exact same prompt, but then I added round buildings with pods on it. And so it was using the same prompt, but then it just added, oh, you want a round building next to it. And then I saw that little tube thing, and I'm like, oh, wow, it looks so cool. So I moved the camera over here, and I said, I want to have like a tube connecting to, and then use the same text prompt. And I kind of just did this over and over again until I got something abstract. We got another example here.
That one's beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. This one I extended off of a drawing I had done before. So I had this drawing here, and I wanted to see what kind of hero she could be outside of the frame. And I zoomed out, and all of a sudden it started adding all of these other like galactic heroes
love all these
into like these intricate, like almost like ethereal designs. And then so I just thought that was really cool. Another one that I worked on with this new outpainting feature was this one, where I started off doing like a Renaissance painting of people on their cell phones. It started off with just this guy, and I was like, I wonder how many other people are sitting next to him doing this in the same room. And I zoom out, and all of a sudden, you know, we start getting all of them. Now I did notice some weird continuity errors, like all of a sudden these legs emerged from underneath the clothing. I thought that was hilarious. Maybe the person was so busy, you know, typing away that they're just like, I gotta send this email real quick before we post for this painting. And then, you know, so it just got more interesting, and all of a sudden you get all these different designs, and it makes like a lot of great design decisions. So yeah, just the technology to expand the canvas really ups the quality quite a bit. I have a time lapse here that you've provided me. So here's how it works, friends. So you have up in there, it says teddy bear mixing sparkling chemicals in a lab. Then you erase the part of the image that you want to adjust. You hit that generate button, and then boom, it generates that and gives you three different options. So you're like, oh, do I want that one, or do I want this one, or do I want that one? And then you move that outpainting to the next part that you want to work on. You erase the parts you want it to fill in, and it gives you 3 more new images. This allows you, at least from my experience, I mean, dramatically expands what is possible with DALL-E and makes it pretty unique. It's like, oh, wow, you can keep adding to this image. So,
and now it gives you 4. Just like how anytime you do a DALL-E generation, it gives you 4. Now you should get 4 generations.
Yeah, it was previously 3 for a while, but we're improving things.
Constantly.
Yep.
That's
also,
even
I
better.
did not know to erase. I've been like playing with this too myself, not an artist, but I did not know to erase the bits around the edges, and that makes such a giant difference.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask a question about that to you, David. So I noticed in these videos you sent me, you would keep a portion of the image in that square. What would happen if I didn't do that? Like if I extended that square starting right out of the edge, would it understand what's going on?
Yeah, great question. So what the AI model DALL-E sees is when you click the generate button, it's going to take whatever is currently inside of that blue frame, and it's going to set the model along with your text prompt as context. So it's important to keep the context that you want inside of that blue frame. So for example, if we had moved it too far to the right and there was no teddy bear inside of it, then maybe it would have drawn another teddy bear because the text prompt that we have is a teddy bear in a laboratory. So basically you want to describe everything that is inside of the blue frame whenever you're clicking submit. And erasing, just kind of gives you more control over the parts that you want to regenerate or any small edits that you want to make.
Yeah, so I
Oh,
think that's, oh, sorry, what were you gonna say, Natalie? Thank
I
you,
was just going
David.
to
That
say, I
was
see
great.
a couple folks asking for the QR code again, but you can just go to the link in the OpenAI DALI Instagram account bio and you can click it. It's the same link. It's just a place where you can go if you don't have access to indicate that you're interested in access. And you can also put any questions that you have that do not have to do with outpainting there.
Yeah, and also at the end of the stream, I will put the QR code up again. You can screenshot it at that time as well. And yeah, so there's a couple options you got there. I had another question, kind of just about some terms for you, David. There's a lot of, this is a new space, and a lot of people are getting familiar with like literacy, AI literacy. Like, how do we know what we're talking about? So I wanted to ask you, I have a few words that I see on your website that I wanted to ask about, about the AI space. Would you be open to answering some of those definitions?
Of course, yeah.
All right, great. So my first question is, what is a latent space, and why does that matter for AI?
Yeah, latent space, the way that these models operate is they're sort of, I mean, it's a multi-dimensional space. Let me explain that.
Ooh.
You can think of let me actually back up and explain what a model is first, because I think that'll help
Okay.
us latent space. So when you train something on, hundreds of millions of images, this is basically a system that recognizes the relationship between pixels in an image. So for example, if we have a text prompt like tree, maybe that generate a bunch of green pixels, and then it knows that the pixel underneath those might be brown for like the trunk of a tree. So it understands the relationship between pixels and develops kind of a a multi-dimensional representation of like how all the pixels represent or are related to each other. So the latent space is a sort of area where you can kind of think of it as all of the different directions that an image could go. So we live in like a three-dimensional space. We can move forward, backwards, up, down. But the latent space is like thousands of dimensions. So if you have an image, you can move in one different direction, and maybe the tree starts turning purple, or it's maybe the tree turns into like a bush or something like that. So you can sort of think of the latent space as like a many-dimensional space where any direction you move, it's going to change either like the style or the content, the contents inside of the image.
So that's amazing. Thank you so much for that definition. I have a metaphor. Tell me if this metaphor is an accurate description of a latent space. You know how like if you handed a kid a crayon and asked them to draw sky and clouds in the sky, is it almost like a kid's latent space is the fact that they think that I'm going to use a white crayon to paint in the clouds, and I already am thinking I'm going to use a blue crayon to paint in the sky. Would that be like almost accessing a kid's latent space of that's how they imagine those images go together?
Yeah, I think that could be a good way to think about it. I like that.
Okay, cool. Okay, we have I have one more ask about the definitions, then we'll show you some more examples, and then we'll jump into actually using some of the outpainting features. The second question I have is around the word diffusion. I hear it a lot in the AI space, and some people are like, are these just pulling images online? What is diffusion? I heard it's generated. You're generating the pixels through diffusion. What is diffusion? How do you explain it?
Sure. Yeah, so DALL-E is a diffusion model. The way that it works is I'm sure all of you have seen like a TV with static noise on it. So it's basically a bunch of white noise. So the way that these models were trained is we took hundreds of millions of images, and we put a process where we took that image and turned it into static noise. So the image becomes, and the way the model is trained is it does that in reverse. So anytime you type something into DALL-E and click submit, it's actually starting with completely static noise, and then it just iteratively changes the pixels in the image in order to go in the direction of the text prompt that you describe. And that process is called diffusion. You can sort of imagine a completely noisy image that's just like random colored pixels. And then the process of diffusion iteratively moves that towards the text prompt that you typed in until eventually you're left with a beautiful image that matches your text prompt.
That's so wild. So you're starting from a noisy image, almost like TV static, but with color. And then over time, it's pushing those pixels closer towards its latent space of what your text prompt is.
Exactly. Yep. And
That's
DALL-E
so wild.
has a sort of joint understanding of both text and images. So the latent space is sort of like a combination between those two things. So if you type in, a wonderful scene with snowy mountains and trees, then
Yeah.
it's going to sort of create a representation of that in the latent space, which is a bunch of, it's like a string of 1,000 numbers. And then it's going to essentially do the same thing with the image. It's going to update the pixels such that it gets closer and closer to that string of 1,000 numbers in the image space.
That's amazing. So thank you so much for explaining what diffusion is, what
Yep.
latent space is, and what a model is in the AI space, because it's so important to understand how the tech works. Again, folks that are in the stream, I'll be resharing this post after the fact. So if you missed any of these definitions, you can still learn from David and Natalie. Let's flip the camera and jump into some of these tools. Let's talk about the interface. Let me zoom in here. So this is a screenshot, or sorry, a screen recording. And I just wanted to point out stuff. So down here, actually, let me see if I can go full screen here. So looking at this interface, oh, I can't get rid of this menu. You have a bunch of buttons at the bottom. How do you use these? You know, what's the dealio with these? Let's go with this one here.
Yeah, so this is a select tool. And some of these tools are similar to what you might see in Photoshop or Figma or other kind of creative design tools. The select tool lets you move around the generation frame inside of the canvas, so you can pick where you want to extend the image. So that's going to be the tool.
Actually, I'll pull it up on my other screen. I don't know why I'm zooming into the video. That doesn't make sense. Give me 1 second, throw it on the screen. Here it is. And then let's zoom in there. Yeah, so you got this one to move around your screen. Sorry, select stuff.
Yep.
Then this one, you got to pan your view.
Exactly, yep.
And
that's
then
super important. Once
you
expand it enough, you know, you might be left with like a 5,000 pixel by 5,000 pixel image, and you want to be able to pan but still zoom into the details.
Amazing. And then this one is your eraser. That's so freaking awesome. So you added this to Outpainting. And that's where you went and erased certain pixels so that you can give a new text prompt to fill in that area, correct?
Precisely, yep.
Amazing. And then what's this one? You got add generation frame.
Yeah, so similar to being able to move around the existing generation frame, you might end up in a state where the generation frame no longer appears. So this just allows you to get back to that state where you can move the generation frame to a specific part of the image and tell DALL-E where you want to.
Amazing. And I'm guessing, is this the upload? Oh yeah, it is the upload image. So you can now upload your own images in here so that you can use that in the model, right?
Exactly, yeah. And this is a very powerful feature actually. So I can take any images that I want, whether it's an image that I found on the internet or a previous image that I made with DALL-E, and upload it into this interface. We've seen people do some really cool things. You can imagine like taking two completely different images and then fusing them together. So like DALL-E will fill in the right side of some random image and the left side of some random image, and it'll basically stuff to fill in between those that makes some sort of sense, or it just looks cohesive. So we've seen people do really interesting and creative things with that tool.
That's freaking awesome. Thank you for explaining kind of the interface. And I guess, Natalie, do you want to jump into any questions, or do you have a specific, a next step that you would like to see here?
Yeah, I would love if we could just start creating maybe on your canvas,
Sure.
and build a world,
Okay.
and maybe some folks in the audience can chime in on what they want to see. And David, you can
got
give
it.
us some best practices here. So I think I'm having a hard time updating the link in bio. I'm hearing from some folks that they can't see the survey. So we'll make sure that you get it, and we'll drop it here. And Don's going to also put the QR code again. Just a reminder, if you've joined, you can ask for access there, and you can also share any questions that aren't about outpainting. Okay.
So I want to start off with this image is an interior that I made with Outpainting. This is I asked for an HDRI image. It's great for 3D programs. And HDRI, you can wrap around a 3D environment and it can light your scene. And I wanted an interior of a boutique lab. And it just did a great job at really understanding the request. And it's such a huge image. I can zoom in. They have these cool like pots and books and lab experimental cauldrons, and it looks like milk on the wall, and then stairs. So maybe we can make a new interior. Would that be interesting to you all?
Yeah, let's definitely do that. Did you ask for all the different like lighting fixtures, or did DALL-E just know that there was light on a ceiling? Or
I asked for a lot of stuff. I would say I changed the prompt pretty dramatically for every time I moved the frame with this one.
Sweet. Cool.
All right, so let's create a room here. So I'm going to jump into the new outpainting feature, and I guess we'll start off with an interior. Let me see if I can zoom in here so that's a little bit easier to read the prompt. There we go. All right, so what are we going to start off with? What do you want to just interior? You want me to just start and we can kind of add to it?
Yeah. An interior of what? Let's see.
Yeah, we'll do like a laboratory, a factory. I'm trying to think of like a really interesting,
Yeah,
a fairy forest house interior.
Okay. Yeah, I say fairy forest sounds amazing. Also, any type of library sounds amazing.
Forest, fairy, library, interior, comma,
okay.
fantasy, mystical, beautiful, comma, digital art, comma, 4K resolution.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Okay, so I
You guys
hit
find a lot
those.
of difference, put like 4K resolution in there. Do you?
I think so. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
because I think it makes it sharper.
And designed as that.
Yeah, like it's not actually going to create an image that is 4K, but it's going to give aesthetics that you might find in a really high definition image.
Oops, I spelled fairy incorrectly. It's spelled like fairy, like the boat. So I really like this though.
So there's a boat. That's funny.
So
Although a lot of times, even if you have a typo, it will like correct it for you or understand like what you intended.
Oh my God, I love all of these. That's also very good. So you're right. So you said since it's a text model, it knows that people might spell the word fairy incorrectly, and therefore it might still understand what you're talking about, even if you spell it incorrectly, because it's not like very precise with. I love all of these interiors. The one I may be feeling the most is this one, but what are your feels?
I like that.
Oh, all right, so I get this alarm on my end. I live by a fire department, so let me hit accept. All right, so I hit accept. Now, let's say I wanted to tweak something in here, which I do. I'm going to grab the eraser. Actually, no, before I do that, let's just jump into the newest feature, the outpainting feature. So down at the bottom here, we have that pan view. So that's how I can, if this image gets huge, I'm going to pan it to the side here. Then I'm going to grab this add generation frame button, click on that. Gives us this nice big blue square. And I'm going to extend the image to the right over here, but I'm including about this much of it as an overlap. And I'm going to write the word fairy spelled correctly, fairy, and then library interior, and I'll just use the same prompt and hit generate.
And a question
here we go.
So what DALL-E is generating now, it's the context that it is taking from the existing image. That's just what's within the square, like the stuff that's off to the side. It's not pulling from that, is it? Like
it's not. Yeah.
Okay. So it's just.
Also, it's not thinking of this stuff, right?
So yeah, it's not bringing that. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
look at that.
cool. Look at the book.
Oh my God, the book is so pretty, and I like how it has like almost a natural spotlight on it, just to emphasize like you're in a spot for reading. It looks like we're in a dark, spooky forest cave in library, so you're going to need lights. That's the first option. Here's number 2. Nice. They just kind of extend that library wall and put another light in there. Here's number 3. Looks almost like a treasure chest with a book on it. And this one brings in more plant life. Wow.
I like the first one, and I think that we should extend it and make it become underwater.
It looks underwater, yeah.
Yeah.
Done. So I'm going to extend it over here, and then I'm going to say, instead of forest fairy library, I'm going to say
fish.
Underwater, comma, with fish, comma, and then that's what I have. So I have underwater with fish, library, interior, fantasy, mystical, beautiful. And we'll go ahead and generate. Here we go. We got a lot of mind-blowing faces in the in the comments. So it's pretty wild what is possible here. Here we go.
For our next one, I think we should maybe try what David had done, which was like erase. Although the edge here is what inspired the undersea. Cool.
That is true. Wow, look at those. They have like a cave. Oh my God, we got some dolphins and almost like a little lake in here. Wow.
The sea turtles at the bottom, it's hard to tell.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it has a turtle vibe. I mean, I'll hit accept on it. So let's say we want it to, like what you said, we have this giant image now, right? So you can see I'm looking left and right. And if I wanted to edit something in here, I grab that eraser button and I start erasing anything. So I'm just going to erase right here, and I'm going to erase right here, and I'm going to erase right here. And what I want to put here is maybe some really cool Greek statues underwater. Greek underwater statues, comma, made of marble, comma, underwater.
And
then we
Don,
hit generate.
for anyone that hasn't gotten to see your live streams before, do you want to share a little about how you do the text, like you use the dictation feature to, not from DALL-E, I know it's just from your iOS devices, but I think that's cool.
Yeah, so for me, I don't like typing. It struggles. I got nerve pain stuff. So instead of typing, what I like to do, oh, interesting. We didn't get statues here, and I maybe want to talk to, maybe ask you about why not. But before I do that, I use the voice feature. So I tap the microphone so I can just speak to DALL-E, and that helps me with my creative process because then I can just talk out loud. I don't have to type things. I'm really bad at spelling, and I don't have to worry about those things, and I want to just be in a creative mode. So David, I don't see any Greek underwater statues. In the cases where we erase something and we don't get a result, what's going on under the hood that makes it not know what we're talking about?
Yeah, so DALL-E tries its best to understand what you're saying and produce an image, but sometimes either you may not have erased enough or really just make text around what you erased. Maybe you just can't find a space or a place to fill in the image that you're describing. So I would say let's try erasing more and see if we can get some Greek statues in there.
You got it. So I'm making a much larger erase here. I use the same prompt, Greek underwater statues made of marble underwater. And I'll hit generate. Yeah, I love talking to DALL-E too instead of typing because I'm not a writer or a coder. So it just helps, like, I can speak what I have in mind, but I can't really draw it, or I can't really type it. All right, here we go. It's almost there. 3, 2, 1. Almost there. I wait for that blue bar to complete to know the frame is there.
Never will happen.
Amazing. So that definitely worked to get us some statues. That one's pretty wild. That's pretty, I mean, wow. That's cool.
It tried its best. I mean, I don't know how many images of Greek statues underwater are in the training data set. So really, DALL-E is trying to like invent something completely new that has really never been seen before. So given that,
oh, wow. I'm impressed then as well. Because then that basically allows you to, like, so I guess in its latent space, it knows about statues, it knows about marble, it knows about Greek, sculpture, but it doesn't really know that in underwater. It hasn't seen that a lot. So maybe that's why we don't see like the underwater lighting appearing on it. It doesn't know that that's a thing.
I think so. Yeah. It's also trying to combine the concepts of like an indoor library with also an ocean. So yeah, lighting might not be as you might expect in a more natural environment.
Amazing. So, all right, I guess we can keep creating on this. I'm going to go ahead and erase another chunk of the image here. So, or maybe should we do a set extension? Because you can also go.
What if we went lower? So I saw somebody ask if we could make it taller. Like, what if we went lower and either tried to add a basement floor or tried to make this look like it's in a ship? Like, can we try to add some context from the bottom? That's where my creativity ends here. So I'm not sure.
You got it. Ship, deck, floor, interior, comma, low light, comma, underwater, comma, high quality. And let's see. Oh yeah, I forgot. You can give a DALL-E lighting direction. So if you say low lighting or soft lighting, it actually does a great job at understanding that kind of terminology, because a lot of people have shared and associated images in its latent space. It knows what like soft lighting is and red lighting is on an image. So you can give light direction, which really helps get better images out of the model. All right, here we go. And boom, awesome. I like how it just continued that extension right there. So it's a much larger image now. Let's take the other examples. Nice, puts a table right here. I love where that's going. I don't like that one. It's interesting. It kind of made an exact copy, but it looks like it like almost saturated it in some ways. And then we have this one. So maybe if we do, I feel like this one's pretty cool, or this one. Which one what are you feeling?
Yeah, either the first one or the second one. The table's interesting. We could continue that in the left and see what
Let's do it. You got it. So I'm going to use the hand icon here to pan my view. It's cool that you've added shortcuts. So you can do P on your keyboard to pan your view, or V on your keyboard to select. So it's a nice handy tool. And then I'm just going to move the generation frame a little bit lower. I'm including a little bit of that water information up there. And then we'll say poker table. underwater. Underwater poker table for pirates, comma, highly detailed with drinks and beverages.
It might also be helpful to a part of the table too, just so it can fill in as much poker context as well.
Oh, darn it. I just hit generate, but I will, that's an excellent point, because right now it doesn't have that context.
That's one of the cool things. So even if we generate something right now and we find that we don't like it, you can always erase or cancel and replace it.
Wow, that's so cool. Okay, so let's try, I'm gonna hit cancel, and I'm gonna use the eraser, and then I'm gonna erase part of the table like that, right?
Yep.
And then just hit generate, because it has the same prompt saved in there. So that's underwater poker table for pirates, highly detailed with drinks and beverages. I see AZ Silverman saying, oh, that looks so cool. Maureen says, can you undo?
Yes.
Not exactly. Oh, you can?
Well, you can undo. We support like Command Z, Command Redo. That looks a little bit better. Nice.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
Like
So for example,
ashtray.
to accept one of these, Command Z or Control Z would undo that, so you can get rid of it if necessary.
Oh, that's fantastic. I didn't know you can undo. I'm learning new stuff as well. Oh, we got someone in the comments. Abnihav is saying add coral. Let's do that. I'm going to grab that move frame, move it over here, then grab this thing over there. And yeah, let's add some coral reef. Coral reef and fish. What are you going to say, Natalie?
I was going to ask if, and I guess this is for David, because the frame that we are using to generate has the context of the existing image, which used the word underwater to describe, do we need to use underwater in this continuation, or will it pull that context?
You don't have to. It will pull the context, and it might see that you have an underwater scene and just continue along with that. It might help a little bit though to keep that theme of underwater going.
In case because it's not looking at it and understand necessarily that that's that way because of underwater. There's other things that you could have used to describe it to be that way, right?
Exactly.
Because it's taking the visual context, not the.
Oh, you know what I could have said to get statues underwater? I could have said Atlantis.
That would have been.
It's
great.
Not too late. Erase.
That's so true. All right, let's do this. So we're going to hit the erase button. I'm going to erase here, and then I'm going to erase up there, move my generation frame a little bit taller, and then I'll say Atlantis discovered with really cool artifacts and sculptures and architecture. I think that will work better, because I think in its learning model, maybe there's more training data of what Atlantis looks like versus what does Marvel look like underwater, which might be kind of confusing its language model to not know, like, what are you talking about? Marvel underwater? Oh, you meant Atlantis. Oh, we've seen Atlantis in the in its proverbial we. Okay, here it goes. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, interesting. Okay, there we go. Look at that. We got this nice sculpture over here.
Yeah.
Keep going to the other ones. Whoa, I don't know what's going on there. At least I'll go with that sculpture one right there. I think that would work.
All those seem to bring a lot of not related stuff. Interesting. I wonder if Atlantis.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think if there's any other context that the word Atlantis exists in. Like, do they think you're talking about?
Yeah, I think if you're
Atlantic
also
City.
trying to go to something very different, it helps to erase even more of the image. That way, you're sort of giving DALL-E more of a creative license to like do whatever it wants with the image. Sometimes it can be hard. Too much context, and you have to join like different ideas. Then it might struggle to think. Yeah, exactly like that.
So I'm erasing a lot more, and I'm just going to say the same prompt. And it's almost like when you give a creative person more creative freedom, they have more elaborate ideas that they can make. But when you give a creative person maybe a lot of constraints, maybe they have to like limit how big their idea can go. It's just a creative kid. It's a creative kid just trying to draw a picture. Okay, here we go.
It's
3.
Still left a little bit in the upper right. Like there's still a little bit to match from the upper right. That's interesting.
Let's see what happens there.
Yeah.
And
when I first saw it for the first time, I was so impressed with like, the transitional stuff and how it just how it
whoa.
Oh, there were some columns in there.
Yeah. Although someone had commented about the Atlantis Hotel, and honestly, I'm getting like hotel check-in vibes from that particular one.
Oh, wow. That's so interesting. Okay, so I guess a lot of people might take pictures in front of that hotel and
Yeah.
captured it. And it's just like,
Subterranean ruins, someone said. I feel like
That's pretty
let's
good.
do that. I'm gonna hit cancel on this. That's a great wording, great prompt engineering there. Subterranean ruins. I love that because it's so specific. It knows what ruins are. It knows what subterranean means. And it's almost like it can do even more because those terms are they're so clear in and of themselves. They have a lot of good definitions.
well,
Okay,
let's
so I see, yeah, so we got some cool staircases. There we go.
Oh, I'm definitely
It's an
getting ruined.
interesting angle, but I like where its head's at. I like where DALL-E's thinking of taking this. It's so fascinating.
Also a good example of how important the placement of the generation frame is, because you can see how the bottom of where the generation frame was may not start connecting with some of the content that's already below it. So it really is like figure out how to place that, how much context to put inside of it. And it's the type of thing that you get a hang of over time.
Yeah, luckily I could just move the generation frame here and then erase the continuity problems.
That's the beautiful thing. It's like when Bob Ross says like happy little mistakes, you know, we have the eraser tool. We can always update it, erase things, and then regenerate it.
I love that. There's no such thing as mistake, just happy accidents, right? Is that what he says?
Yep.
So yes, I just used the same subterranean ruins. I gave it more area to work with, and we'll see how it works with this table and ruins, like, and this floor deck. Wow, see, that's really cool. How it's able to like kind of it's fixing it in its own way. But what's so interesting is these lines of the shadows are helping tell the image what the perspective is. So suddenly it thinks that this is an overhead shot because of those shadows in that column. It immediately thinks that we're taking this from above, which is kind of out of continuity with this, which is like a medium shot kind of at floor level. Yep. So I found a hack or a method for fixing this. What I've done, and I did it with this image here, I actually generated only from left to right first. And then I moved the canvas up and I said the top of, and then used the same prompts, or the ceiling of, used the same prompts. Then I moved the reference image down and said the floor of, the bottom of, the lower half of, with the same prompt that was just in the middle section. And so that's kind of why I go like linearly a little bit, go left, that. The other way I got the image to have more continuity was I actually would leave big gaps between each generation frame, but the gaps are big enough that one generation frame would cover the two. So imagine making a whole bar and then almost like a castle wall, boom, boom, boom on the top, and then fill in the in-betweens. And it gets a lot of nice continuity across a really large image. So that's the workaround if you get perspective changes like this.
That also just kind of reminds me, when you were first showing me how to use Outpainting, your first advice was start by saying a part of a mural about something. Why did you, like, what brought you?
So if I wanted to create something really big, because DALL-E is just generating what is currently inside of the frame that you have, if I had said a mural, then maybe it'll just generate a image of like a full mural. But what I want to do is I want to generate part of a mural, and then when you recombine all these different parts, then you end up with a final image that is big and sort of constitutes one single mural.
Yeah.
That's so funny. We've come to similar results. I did a close-up of, and then I describe a particular fashion that I want to see. And so it's like a close-up sleeve of garment that doesn't exist yet with some really cool textures and materials. And then I get these, extremely high resolution images out of DALL-E that are, just like unbelievable when you do that close-up. So you just like, it's like thinking more like you have a microscope and you're describing a part of a thing. You're not describing the whole thing, because that doesn't take advantage of the outpainting feature, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Is there anything that you've seen, like, I know we've just launched this yesterday, but so many artists are making amazing things, that has particularly wowed you, or something that you didn't, I don't know, expect that people are creating?
Yeah, I've seen people like putting in their logos. And if you like put in a logo, for example, and you erase part of it, you can actually create really cool art that's sort of inspired by or resembles the logo.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
The idea of like taking something and then contextualizing it into this like bigger, like if you were to step back from that logo, actually it's a full like mountainscape or something. Yeah, I know a couple of the ones that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've seen some of my friends have Oh, sorry, what was that, David?
Might just end up using like the colors that you have in your logo, which is a really cool functionality too. So if you have specific brand colors, you could like add a couple of pieces of paint around the canvas that represent those colors, and then DALL-E will just fill in something around those colors that matches with them. And you end
So
up with
cool.
like an image that you can use for marketing or other have.
Wow. I mean, I can share some examples I've been seeing of friends here. I started designing some shoes based off of DALL-E. So like it's got me back into physical painting. So like I wanted to see like a cool pattern that I wanted to do, but I extended it. It's great if you use the word symmetrical or mirroring, you can get patterns that you can use on clothing, or you can say seamless patterns or seamless continuation. And then for 3D artists out there, you can say things like a normal map of, a diffuse map of, a ambient occlusion map of. That's more technical for the 3D folks. And if you're a photographer, it understands every camera lens. So you can say shot on a Sigma 24 millimeter prime lens. It understands that. Or shot on a telephoto, 70 millimeter telephoto lens. So you can take different art references and use those to make these really dynamic images and patterns, which is always so exciting. Natalie, David, do you have any other questions or things that we should show or talk about before
Yeah,
I
I've
put
got
the QR code up?
a couple
Perfect.
things that I noticed coming in. First, this feature is available for all DALL-E users. So if you've got access to DALL-E, maybe we can just go through like opening it up and showing people where it is. And then if you don't have access to DALL-E, we're going to show you a QR code where you can just give us your information and let us know you're part of this live stream, and we'll get you access. And you can also click the link in our bio right now. We'll take it down a little bit after the live stream, but go there if you don't have access yet. And then let's see, how about are the generated images like, is the resolution getting lower as the image gets larger? No, right?
It is not. No, I mean, one of the challenges can be making sure that you don't drift away from the original style that you had, but the resolution is pretty much the same for each frame that you add to the image.
This is a beautiful piece. Oh my gosh. It's so pretty. And then this perspective of everything kind of going to that focal point at the top there. Jeez. It's just so inspiring.
That one was by Emma Catniff, and it's just so whimsical. I love it.
Yep.
Amazing. And then, yeah, so I was going to recommend this. If you want to do your own reading, folks, on like how does this work, this is on their blog page. OpenAI, you have a great blog that kind of goes into these details. They show end results, but they also show time lapses of things. So it can be kind of helpful to kind of help get your mind around how do you do these things. I love the time lapses. I would encourage every person that has access to DALL-E right now, do time lapses of what you're making and then tag the heck out of AI communities just to kind of show how creative we can go with this technology. And then, yeah, you can read all about the other details, but just these pieces are just out of this world. I mean, so many art styles and yeah, great work right here. And yeah, so anywho, the way you go to it, if you're already in, you would log in to your account on the top there. So I'm on OpenAI's website, and then is that how I would just go to log in, and then
yeah, log into DALL-E just as you normally would. I just want to show, it's basically clicking just the edit tool, but some people who haven't seen. So here, I guess, can you, David, tell us the plan.
Yeah, there's two ways to get there. If you just want to drop into a completely blank canvas, if you were to go to the top right of the page where your user icon is, and you click on that.
All right. Let me zoom in. So I got my user icon right here.
Yep, there should be a new thing that says try.
Nice. So I did not see that before. Try outpainting. All right, I'm going to zoom out here with my phone. Awesome, and now you're there.
And one other option too is if you just start with a text prompt from the DALL-E homepage and it generates an image that you like, but you decide that you want to expand it or you want a different aspect ratio, then looking at that image that you generated, you can click edit, and that will drop you into the outpainting interface with that image as your starting point.
Oh my goodness, that's such a, I actually didn't know where to do that. So thank you for explaining that.
Would you mind going through it, like typing something?
Sure. So I'm going to generate something here. A wizard defending a dragon in front of a black hole before the star collapses.
Amazing.
It's just what I had on my mind, you know, normal stuff.
I love it. I love it. I love it. But anybody
So,
that this is available to you now, I will say that yesterday we were so delighted to see how popular it was and how excited everyone was. So it may have been slower and
ooh. So I'm in this one, and then I would, if I want to edit this, I want to see more of the black hole, I would go into the edit button, right?
Exactly.
Here.
Yep.
I tap edit, so now I'm in the editing context, and now I want to see beyond this image. I would move my frame generator to the side here. I'll grab a little bit from above and below. I'm going to use the hand icon to kind of pan my view, and then I'll use the same prompt and hit generate. It might generate another wizard and another dragon over here because I didn't change the prompt. Maybe if I wanted to continue the clouds, I would just say clouds of a black hole illustrative art style. But I was lazy with typing because I don't like typing. Oh, wow. Look at that. We got another wizard defending maybe the start of a dragon. Let's take a look at the other generations. Yep, we got another wizard. So
yeah, my guess is that in the square, it saw that the dragon already existed, but because the wizard was outside of the square, it thought that the wizard was what wasn't there yet.
Oh, that makes so much sense. So I'm going to take out the word defending, the wizard defending a dragon. So let's say dragon in front of a black hole before the star collapses. Star collapses. Hold on, got to spell that. Collapses, comma, nebula clouds. And then we generate that. This is so much fun. It's just like endless because the amount of iterations you can go through is just unbelievable. And the fact that you can now edit these outpainted images to like refine them. Yeah, look at that. I mean, that's so beautiful right there. Love these clouds. All of them have a really nice painterly look too. I think I like this one because it goes from this kind of desaturated to a more saturated blue.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would literally just use that same technique. So I can zoom out. It's a little in the lower right corner. I don't know why that's placed so far away, but there's a minus and a plus sign, and that lets you zoom in and out of all of your images. This is important if you're going to make a gigantic image. It might be kind of hard to see the whole context. So I use that minus button right now, and that's how I was able to get to this view where it's actually, you know, much smaller. I have a lot more real estate to move around, so I can grab that pan tool, and I have that space to still see the whole context. So I can grab that generation frame. I'm going to move it up right there and hit generate. I'm going to use the same prompt, dragon in front of a black hole before the star collapses, nebula clouds. And just like before, I'm guessing it's going to continue these really nice clouds and almost make like a little circle here. And then we could make that image anything. You know, maybe the wizard has a magical wand in the other hand and he's casting the spell that's controlling all of this. Oh, wow, we get a wing of a dragon up there out of nowhere. That's kind of cool.
I wonder what that is. Yeah.
Yeah, we can figure it out and see. Oh, we got this one. It looks like another source of energy. I'm going to go to this one. I'm really curious. Sorry?
A couple logistics questions that are coming in are about credit. So each time that you ask DALL-E to generate something and give you something back, it'll give you back 4 things.
Yep.
Whether you're asking it for a generation or you are asking for a variation, or if you are outpainting and you're asking it to give you 4 more options to extend. Each request for the return is 1 credit.
That is very good to know. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 credits.
There you go.
Ooh, whoa, it turned his hat into a dragon for that one. Oh, wow. That's really pretty. Look at that cute dragon. Doesn't have a body, just a dragon and a wing. I don't know how the flight pattern would work for that little one, but oh, there we got a good one. That's coming in, another dragon. Wow, these are all very fascinating interpretations. I think it saw the wizard's hat and just assumed that this was part of the dragon because it has like almost like a dragon skin material.
Yeah, right.
Wild.
The eyes are just beneath the line, so that makes sense.
I like this one. It's weird, but I like it. And so if I was ready to download this, in the upper right-hand corner, just below your icon, it's the same button as before. It's a little download icon. And you can hit the download icon, and then it would just save this onto your computer. And yeah, it's as easy as that. And it's going to be a huge image.
Like this white space, like see how that's not a perfect square? That's transparent, right?
It is transparent, yeah.
In the thing that you download.
Yep.
Oh, that's so nice.
And then if you wanted to like upload this later back into this interface, you can always continue continue the party and continue expanding the image that you previously had.
Really? So I actually don't know how to do that. So you're saying if I was like, oh, I need to come back to this wizard dragon black hole scene, how do I come back to this while it's still in this editing mode?
Yeah, so you can click the upload button in the bottom toolbar.
Oh yeah, upload image U. Okay, click on that button.
Yep. Let's find the image that you just downloaded.
Oh, I didn't save it. Let me download again. So let me hit download, and then I'll just download this to my desktop and save it. Awesome, it's downloaded. Now I go to that upload button. And then you're saying I just go to...
Yeah, let's just find the same image. It'll be a little bit weird because we'll have the same image twice in the canvas, but this is an example where I mentioned you can like fuse two images together. So that might actually be a cool thing that we can try.
Let's try it. All right, so I brought it in.
Awesome.
Whoa, it keeps the size. Oh my God, I didn't know it would keep the size. I thought it was gonna make it a 1024 image.
Yeah, we allow you to upload bigger images now. And if you wanted to, you can even resize. Let's say that you want to pull something into your artwork that is a little bit too big and you want to make it smaller. That's always.
You're kidding me. Okay, this.
Oh my gosh! What? Hang on, I tuned out for 1 second to just check to see that everything was going smoothly, and look what you guys have made.
Well, he just showed me that you can freaking download the image and then it doesn't crush the size, and then you can re-upload it and then decide to resize it. So you like, I could put it over here. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you could create some like weird recursive dragon wizard dream thing. Like if you add that and then erase the borders between it, you could like, sort of fuse the images together and almost create like a like a mirror pattern.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know about this. This is so cool.
I am on it. Oh crap. Oh, let's see. So it did fuse them already. I see. So I just got to erase the edges.
Yep.
Okay. It gets a little hard to erase the edges at the top. Let me make the cursor a little bit smaller. Maybe that'll help us get closer. It's not letting me erase up there, but okay, it's okay. I'll just do this. And then you said DALL-E performs better when we give it more real estate to work with. So I'm going to erase a larger area.
Cool.
And then I'll call this Recursive Wizard Dream.
Love it.
Recursive Wizard Dream in the cosmos, protecting the galaxies from evil. Okay, and we'll just generate this wizard's dream. I'm so curious. I've always wanted to see what wizards dream about when they defend planets from black holes. It's a thing. It's a real thing. So it's helpful that this is a real image. Okay, here we go. And it's 3. Oh, I see. It's still doing. Okay, so that's one option. 2. Whoa! It put the wizard between, fusing the wizard beards with his hands.
Wow.
Oh my God. That's really cool. I like this one.
Pulling in multiple images just allows you to create really whimsical, almost like psychedelic things. Because DALL-E will just bring new concepts or like join together concepts that you would not normally see joined in a normal photo.
So I made this image with DALL-E a few weeks ago. I'm going to bring it in, just see what happens. So if I placed it here, and then I grab that check mark button to accept it in there, then I grab the eraser, I erase the borders like you're saying.
Yep.
And then it will try to work this together into one image.
Yeah.
That is unbelievably powerful. I did not know we could do this. I'll keep the same one. Recursive Wizard Dream about Ninja Turtles in the nebula. There we go. Hit generate. Wow.
Yes, use this. Let's say that you have multiple characters that you like, that you want to be involved in the same scene. This can be a cool technique. Like, try to integrate many different concepts or characters or subjects.
That's all the time for me. Wow, look at that. It just continued the background. That's so freaking awesome. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
David, you just blew my mind, and hopefully you blew the minds of like 500 or 1,000 people here in the stream that are seeing this for the first time. Because this is, I already thought this was powerful without this feature. Now this is unstoppable.
We're excited to continue adding more features like this. We really see this as like a tool that we're going to improve or add more assistance to people's creative workflows and just give them more opportunities to integrate AI into their creative processes.
And if people want to learn about what those features are, is the best spot for them to learn on your blog? Is that kind of where you'll share those things when it's ready?
Yeah, so we have our blog, which is where we'll post anytime we have updates. If you are a DALL-E user, you'll get an email that comes to the account that you have set up with DALL-E. We have a Discord, and when you were navigating to your to like show how to begin outpainting in the upper right, if you just click your user like ID, you can see where you can join the Discord. We are always posting to our Instagram. I do my best to get back to everybody in the DMs, but it's a lot of DMs, so just be patient with me and try again if you haven't heard back and have something to share or an idea. And then this QR code will lead you to a survey that we're going to associate with this live stream. And if you would like to request access, you can do it there. If you have questions that we didn't talk about here, you can ask them. And if you have any feedback ideas or requests, we'd love to hear about them, because a lot of different things that have come to be within DALL-E or features of DALL-E or our policies have come from learning about artists and what it is that they want for this to be a useful tool for them, because at the end of the day, that's the goal.
Amazing. So I'll keep this up for a few moments while I'm talking. Natalie, David, thank you so much for this like intro and exciting features that you're sharing with us. You've introduced a lot of new technologies to us. Yeah, thank you. This was so helpful and exciting. I'm going to flip the camera back. Hopefully you were able to screenshot that for the folks that are here. Yeah, if you want to keep learning about futuristic stuff, definitely stay tuned. We post a lot of talks about AI and futuristic technologies like this. My name was Don, and yeah, thank you all for being here and being a part of the stream. Feel free to ask me questions. You can DM me. I'm pretty responsive. But same thing that Natalie said. There's a lot of DMs that come in, so I'll try to get back as fast as I can.
And if anybody is joining the stream that's come from the OpenAI DALL-E handle side and you're not familiar with Don's work, Don very regularly does live streams educating people about digital tools, and I find them all to be incredibly accessible and really exciting. So you should definitely stick around and see what he's got to share beyond DALL-E too.
Don's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much. I guess we can wrap this up then.
Yeah.
I guess I don't want to end it, but I guess everyone, if you have access to DALL-E 2, go use it. And if you don't have it yet, it's still in beta, so do the wait list and we'll try it. There's alternatives until you're brought onto the wait list, so that's an option. And yeah,
we've got our link in the OpenAI DALL-E bio, and I'll leave it there for like 30 more minutes, so you can put your information there if you're on the wait list and haven't gotten through yet. But we're right near the lunchroom, and the lunchroom's starting to get packed up, so we do have to wrap. But this has been a blast. Everyone's the greatest. Thank you for tagging us in your creations. It is the best. So see you soon.
All right. Bye, friends. Have a good one.
Bye.
All right. I'll go ahead and move them off the stage there. All right. And then, yeah, I'll throw up the image here. Thank you all so much for being here. Let me see if I can bring the QR code. There we go. So yeah, feel free to scan that QR code. This will provide, wait, can I zoom in? Oh, I can't. Yeah, that goes to, if you want to give them feedback or ask for, access to this tool, that's where you can do it. That's another view of the QR code. Thank you all so much for being here. And yeah, that's going to end the stream. I'm going to save this live stream, so it will be available publicly here on my Instagram if you want to watch it after the fact. And then I'll try to send a copy of this video to OpenAI as well. All right, thank you all so much. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all next time. Okay, bye-bye. I'll put it on the other screen here. I'll turn off that. Oh, I'm super zoomed in. Sorry about that. And then we'll flip it to the QR code. There we go. And I'll zoom in there, so that's a little bit easier for people to jump in here till the to the end. There you go. Hopefully that user interface is not blocking it. I try to get off the edges and the corners. All right, bye everybody. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.